All right, hey everyone. Okay, so yeah, this is, let's see. Oh, whoops, I forgot to pull up the issue. It's on GitHub, Facebook, Jest issues. This one. So I found this when I was upgrading some projects to the latest version of Jest and React and things. And this actually was not a problem with Jest. It's actually a change with React. So if we look at, well, here I'll just show you the repo really quick. So if I yeah, so I've got this test file. We're bringing in React and React DOM. We have this component that throws in the render, and so sometimes I'll have like this isn't very often, but like sometimes in lifecycle hooks or in rendering, I'll do some sort of validation of things. This is mostly in downshift with the render prop thing, and yeah, trying to think of how to explain it simply. But anyway, like I do have some validation thing where I'll throw an error if things aren't quite right. And so I have a couple tests in downshift that verify that behavior, but I started noticing something kind of odd. So if I go ahead and run this test, npm t to run the test, oh, whoops, npm run test :1, then I'm gonna get, oh, I fixed it, whoops. Let me just go back and unfix it really quick. Here we go. Okay, yeah, so that thing. Okay, cool. So then, now if I run this, let me see if I can get rid of all that. This. Okay, cool. Now if I run it, then we're going to see the problem. It has this uncaught error. This is an error in React, and so if we look, that's indeed the error I'm throwing. But the problem is that I want to be able to make an assertion on this. Well, what actually happens is here, if I get rid of these really quick and I run this again, I am actually going to get a console.error call, but I also get this whole big dump of the error from Jest DOM. So what's happening here? Well, if you go to this, then you're going to see this it's called invoke guarded callback dev. It's kind of interesting, but basically what it is something that allows React to run a user provided callback of some kind, some like our user code, and if it throws an error, then it'll work better in DevTools or something. I'm not entirely sure, but so yeah, effectively it gives us a try catch behavior without actually using try catch. So that way the pause on exceptions works better. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but the problem comes in right here where this fake no dispatch event. Oh, and by the way, all this code, this React code is new, like pretty recent additions, maybe even, well, it's certainly in React 16. This isn't a problem in React 15. But anyway, so when this fake no dispatch event happens, then let's see, do event listener, the event type, this callback gets called, which is the user code, I think. And if that throws an error, then this on error handler is gonna happen. And then at some point, the browser actually is supposed to log that error, and so Jest DOM logs the error. So the problem is that Jest DOM has this virtual console because it virtualizes everything, and virtualizing the console is one of those things, and it's actually an event emitter. And that event emitter has this send to function on it, which is just kind of a handy thing that allows you to say, hey, when there's a log or a info or error or warning, whatever, then I want to send it to that console function. But it also has this JS-DOM error, and so when there's an error like this one, then it can just log it just like the browser would, I guess. And so it simulates something, and as you can see, I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. Here, I'm going to pull this over in case there are comments. So anyway, at some point, this JS-DOM error event is fired because of this dispatch, and we call anyConsole.error. So this anyConsole is coming into us from where the JS-DOM is initialized, and in our situation that happens in the Jest environment JS-DOM package. So here we can find that in my node modules here. And so where this is happening is we have this JS-DOM environment, and we initialize. I actually changed some of this code, so this is not all exactly correct, and I also formatted it with prettier, and so it is actually compiled code that we're looking at though. But anyway, it requires JS-DOM, and it initializes it with some JS-DOM options. And I added this, but it doesn't give it a virtual console. So normally, like currently, it doesn't have anything there. And so it uses the default, which is going to use the global console. So yeah, just like global.console. That's what it uses by default, which is great, except if we go to Jest runner, then this is where it actually sets up a isolated environment for each one of your tests, so it can run them in total isolation from each other, allowing it to run in parallel and whatever else. Just have a nice clean environment for it, which is great. And right here, this test environment is going to be Jest environment JS-DOM. So this test environment object is the thing that we're constructing the JS-DOM environment. So as part of all of this, it creates a, actually, you know what, I could probably look at, one thing really quick. While we're still talking here, I need to update my master branch so that I'm working on the latest stuff. So let me just copy this over here. I just barely cloned my fork, so I need to add remote upstream that. Oh, whoops, git add, wait, remote add upstream, and then git fetch stream, and then git set or branch set upstream to upstream master. This way I can get pull, and then we'll just actually look at the contributing just to get an idea. I think here. Yeah, so they want us to run yarn install, which I think is just as good as yarn do. And so while that's running, I can continue talking. So if I go into here, yeah, we'll go to Jest runner, source index, or no, it's run test, and we can see the uncompiled code, which will be a little more useful. So yeah, one of the things that Jest does to make things a little nicer is it has this console abstraction that allows it to like get the location of where the console log appears in your code, and that'll be printed out. Let's see if I've got something. Yeah, so it says, okay, there was a console error called. This is where that call exists, and it does a couple other things as well. So yeah, having this little abstraction on top of console is kind of nice. But the problem is that the console that it provides to your environment, the environment.global.console, is going to be the test console, and the JS DOM console is going to be the regular global console. So you have two different consoles here. And so when I, in my test, want to verify that console is called, I can do that because the console that React is going to use is going to be the one that's provided to my test environment. But the one that JS DOM is using is the global console. So not the one it created, but like the global one. And so I may be able to mock this one and make assertions on that and prevent it from logging during tests, but I cannot mock this one because it is using the global when it initializes JS DOM. So that is the problem, and I was mucking around in my node modules, figuring out all this stuff, and I realized that because we construct a JS DOM environment for each test individually, we can actually provide our own implementation of the virtual console. And JS DOM exposes virtual console and that handy send to function that allows us to provide the console we want it to send everything to, which is handy. So what I did, and by the way, again, all this code that wasn't there before, so that's new stuff. If we look here, where we get the environment, in fact, all the test console stuff is actually below creating our environment. So yeah, basically all that I need to do is update the Jest environment JS DOM so that on the config it accepts a console, and then so it knows which console to forward along, and then on the run test side, we just move all this test console initialization stuff above the environment, and then forward along the console as part of the config that we pass to the test environment. So that's what we're going to do. Hopefully that all makes sense. Sweet. Everything's working. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do that. So if we go to packages, we'll start with whatever is the one that I find first. Just runner. Is that the one? Of course. Run tests. Here we go. Okay. And then just write down, we get our test environment, and we're going to actually just move this below the console stuff. And then object.assign console to be test console. Okay, and that is okay, good. And then we can go to Jest environment JS DOM and go in config project config. I didn't think about the type. Find the type. Types config. Project config. Yeah, this is why I said this was going to be quick and dirty, because I'm sure there are going to be things there we're going to want to change. But we'll say console is optional object. And a bunch of, I guess they want to have object. Yeah, we'll get feedback on this. Okay. Cool. So then we can go to this now. The config here, and let me just copy stuff. Jest big.console or and it looks like oh there. Yep. Cool. So now let's just run yarn test. See if it broke anything. And then I'll push this up and get some feedback on it. Oh, I'm missing a bunch of comments. Yeah, so a question about JSDOM. JSDOM simulates browser calls for testing purposes. Yeah, so all of the tests are running in Node, and JSDOM is responsible for simulating the browser environment in Node. Yeah, window.2 scroll 2 is not implemented in JSDOM, which is kind of annoying. So yeah, you do have to like muck around with your own mocks of things and stuff, which is unfortunate, but that's the way that things go. At some point, you probably do want to have some tests that run in the browser, in which case you use Cypress, and it's great. How do I handle JSDOM not implementing things in downshift? You can take a look at the downshift tests. The scrolling stuff is the most complicated, and I don't understand it, honestly. So I am hoping to eventually add some downshift tests to that, or some Cypress tests to that. Yeah, and this is Adam. Okay, so it looks like we've got some errors with flow. Thought that I made it. Oh. Or is that question mark in the wrong spot? I don't know how to F yarn test. Oh, there's a question mark here. Yeah, I don't know how to do stuff. I'll just leave where it is. I want to do yarn jest as well. Jest tests itself with jest. Very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna save this after everything fails. See, maybe it won't fail. It didn't fail. Cool. So yeah, leave that right there as it is. Oh. Weird. Oh, that's weird. Nice. Implicit there. And we'll run the test again. See, that'll work. That the question mark symbol, this is a flow thing. So this is flow typed. And I believe that this is saying that on this project config object, this is an optional property, so it doesn't have to exist. But if it does exist, then it needs to be an object. So, yeah, staff, good staff. Oh, it's already 5:10. I gotta hurry. Family time. Sweet, type checking passed. We'll see what they say about adding console to the project config. I don't think that they'll be happy with that. So we'll maybe find another way to do this. We could just add another argument. Maybe they'd like that better. I'll just add another argument instead. Here we'll call it test object now. And this will be test console and we'll actually do just okay. Cool. And go to here, get rid of that change, give out that. Then we'll do config and test. Okay, that'll be good. And now let's just look at the diff here. And we just moved that down. Yeah, very simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a branch called Jest console, and we'll commit all this stuff with I don't know how they care about the commit messages or not. Let's see what they say in their contributing documentation, and just look at their commit. Commit. They don't appear to have commit message. Some people like that, but don't. So I'll just do whatever I want. Pass console or test console to test environment. Well, that's why I wanted to make it part of the config, because the test environment could be anything. But we'll just see what they say. And then we'll push, and then I'll do a yarn test. And test can run while I make this pull request. Come on. Yeah, it did make the branch. You know, this is weird. Normally it'll just like pop up here, but the last 2 pull requests I've made, it hasn't done that. So go through all this. Compare across forks. Go to my fork. And it does a full page refresh. There we go. So, yep. Okay. Oh. Oh. Guess I can do that real quick. Save the changelog. What? Man. Oh man. Oh, types environment. Man, I'm gonna have to set a type somewhere. Of course, why not? Alright, in that case I'm gonna go back. My changes. Project config. And say console is checked. And then config.console fine. Okay. And that I think will be better anyway. I made a typo in the types, did I? Oh no, that's correct. This is an optional console, right? I think that's correct. It worked last time. Okay, so get amend, get def. Okay, so correct. Get push force. Oh yeah, and I was gonna wait. Is fix or I don't know. One man's bug is another man's feature. Jest. Enter. Bird. Oh, you know what? This is gonna prettier this file. I don't want to mess up the existing form. So we're gonna vim that sucker. I guess I could have disabled it temporarily, but that's okay. Okay, do just runner do sure. And it's mostly just for JS so JS console. Test. Yep, that'll work. And then in just done. Do done. And here we need to. I hope that this like accepted because all this 5 2 link to the end of the line and paste. Okay. Do so. This is the console used is test plan. I don't know. Um, I'm not sure. What could I? Suppose I could publish it. Here we run. Just in test work. I could publish it and use it in another. I really would just need to copy the built output into my node modules directory. I don't know. Well, I'm not sure how the best. Okay. I just want to have the test run before I actually open the pull request. Don't want to bother people unless I have a reason to bother them. Hi, Blue Raid. See, this is why I do Kent seed odds everywhere, because people know who I am. They don't have to remember what my alias is. Blue Raid, I know who you are, but I can't remember who you are. Whoa. Weird. I'm like clicking on buttons and stuff. I just accidentally ignored Blue Raid. Whisper. Oh, what? Wait. Report. Ban. Oh, I'm not gonna ban Blue Raid. Okay, come on. Wait, ESLint is taking forever. I guess this is a big project. And now we're running Jest, I guess. Yay! Sweet. Jest is an amazing framework, by the way. Can I just say, it is just so awesome. Actually, fun fact, when I was working, or when I just barely started with Jest, I was coming over from Ava, and Ava had the .test, or wait, I can't remember. It may have been this with Ava. I can't remember, but either Ava or Jest, I wanted to have a .test, like, what is it? Default. So any files with .test in the name would be used as tests. I think it already had .spec, and I wanted to add .test, so I added that. So either in Ava or Jest, I was the one who added the .test support. I'll have to go look. Let me see. So, wow. Pull request. Oh no. Thing wheel. Ah. What's the relationship between React test details and Jest? So there's actually not a relationship at all. React test utils can be used without Jest, and Jest doesn't. It's not built for React test utils, I guess. I mean, it's built by Facebook, so definitely some of that, but yeah, there's not really a relationship. I mean, Jest comes out of the box with JS DOM support, so that's kind of helpful. Nope. That was a cool one. That one later. It must have been Ava then. Yes. I think that's where it is. Yeah. I go. Get them all. Yeah, so I renamed same to deep equal and okay to truthy and falsy. More test file name conventions. There it is. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, fun stuff. Is this done? No. That's a lot of tests. Yeah, see, this bugs me like crazy in test output. I should never see anything but test results. I don't really like seeing actual console output in my tests. So Johnny731 asks, what do you think about saving test files next to files which they're testing versus separate dedicated folder? If you prefer the second option, how to handle long imports? Well, so I have a blog post about that. What we can learn, wait, no. What code comments can teach us about scaling a code base? There it is. So this was a terribly titled article. I don't think many people saw it, in part for that reason. But I'll paste it in here for you. But the basic assertion is right here. Yeah, there it is. Place files as close to where they're relevant as possible. So that's your tests, your documentation, your examples, whatever. Files. And then this is something that actually Dan Abramoff told me once. I should probably credit him on that. Whoops. I'll say something smart once. I think he said it on Twitter. If my computer wasn't going so slow, I'd look for the tweet. And or said so. Yeah. So things that change together should be as close to each other as reasonable. So I am a big fan of co-locating your tests. Advocate even. Okay. So dang it. Not a constructor. Well, what is it then? Fine, let's go into node modules. Yeah, JS down. Okay. And yep, totally constructor. What are okay? Here. Oh. Go. It's not a constructor because it's undefined. There we go. Git amend, git push force, and yarn jest. I don't want to. That'll super annoying. Yeah, and see, jest is so cool. It's like, oh, that was the only test that failed last time, so I'm gonna run that one first. And look, it did, and it passed. Jest, they just thought of everything. Love Jest. Okay, cool. So I'll go ahead. I did make this work by manually changing production repo. Okay, cool. So another question from Johnny731. Thanks. And when testing React components, are you supposed to also test each of your own written class methods that make up that component? Sorry, I'm new to testing, wondering what needs to be tested. Good question. So I've got opinions on that. 3 minutes with Kent and my AMA. Whoops. Yeah, I am AMA. Whoa, my computer's catching up, probably because of the tests. Yeah, wow, they're taking a long time. And I'm also live streaming, and that also takes up a lot of bandwidth. That's why I changed my screen resolution to so much smaller so I'd stream less. Okay, so somebody sent me some code and they had a question about that. So this is React testing patterns. Just kind of talk about some of my opinions there. So I'll just paste that there. And then I also had a recent, and I've got 10 open questions. Testing, React testing. So here I actually record a video where I pick apart the test code that he gives me, and I talk about that as well there. And then finally, it is acd.im/write tests, and this is a blog post. Why is it going to a Chrome extension? So yeah, this is a blog post that I wrote about testing also, that I think is well, I wrote it, so I guess it's okay if I think it's good. Where I talk about the like kind of where you should be focusing your testing and stuff. So to answer your question, basically though, like should you write a test for each of the class methods? You don't want to write a test for the method. You want to write a test for the experience. And so when I click on a button as a user, I expect a pop-up to appear. That's what you should be testing. You should test when this button is clicked, then this pop-up appears. And I think a lot of times people will like mock the heck out of the world and say like, I'm going to call this instance method on this component and make sure that it set the state to what I expect it to. But maybe that state's not wired up properly, and so the user's experience isn't, like, you haven't confirmed anything about the user's experience. So anyway, hopefully some of those blog posts are kind of helpful. Okie doke, sweet, it passed locally, so I think I'm gonna be done. It's past 5:30, so I need to go hang out with my family. And yeah, we've got a couple nice people. I don't know how to say your name. Pavithra. I think I got that. He's really, I don't know how to say your name, Pavithra, but yeah, I like you. You're good. She just tweeted at me. That's funny. Okay. Not helping the Kent C. Dodds is a bot theory. Database of all possible questions. Okay, so actually the real bot is Eric, Mark Erickson. He's Ace Mark. This guy's the bot. He's been accused of it multiple times. He's got links for everything. Cool guy. Okay, cool. I think that's gonna be it. So hopefully we can actually just really quick. I'm gonna run yarn build. And then we'll copy from developer Jest Jest environment JS no packages Jest here JS build index. We'll copy that to node modules I know there's a better way to do this, but I'm not going to do it that way. Okay, cool. So copy that. Looking good. And then we need to do the run test for the runner. So we'll go environment or just runner build run test and node modules just runner build run test. And then yeah, sweet. And then we'll save this. And if I run npm run test 1, then I should not see all that really ugly output. Yeah. And 2, what 2 does actually is kind of interesting. I don't think I showed you. With test 2 does this. It uses test environment options and it takes advantage of, well, oh, right here, this config test environment options. So I was basically just doing this inside of my own config, except the problem with that is I could only send it to the console or like nothing else at all. And I took advantage of the omit JS errors option in the virtual console thing, which prevented it from logging errors. So it's like super duper annoying config. I don't want to have to do that. And so yeah, this is hopefully it works. But yeah, try looking for the link option. Yeah, I've used npm link and stuff, and I can do it. I was just really quick. Okay, but yeah, thank you. Attica Games TV. Why doesn't everybody just use your name? Like, gotta be all this weird thing, and I don't know who people are. Just use your name. So much easier. And on that note, use your face on like Twitter and stuff. I realize not everybody wants to, like, there are biases and stuff, so I can understand some of that, but still, it like would make things a lot easier at conferences and stuff when I see people. I'm like, oh, you're that, drop of water. Yeah. Anyway, I'm done ranting. I'm gonna jump out. So thanks everyone. We'll see you later. I hope this was like fun and helpful and informative and stuff. Bye.